Boom, baby. We
Boom.
are here. Welcome to episode 2 of Stars, Stripes, Sectors, the S3 podcast. I am Luca.
I'm Jacob.
That is Jacob. And we are here to talk about some of the things that happened in testing over the past week. And we're going to throw in our season predictions along with some of our unhinged, logical, illogical, and just pure superstitious vibe predictions.
Looking forward to it.
Yes. First, I came up with a couple categories for how we felt about our favorite F1 teams this past testing. I've divided it into 3 categories. We have bleh. Bleh is essentially who was bad, who was really bad, who you thought looked bad. Boo. Tomato, tomato. And then we have meh. Everyone you thought that was just okay. They weren't good, they weren't bad, they just looked okay. And then we have everyone that kind of made you raise an eyebrow, made you think a little harder about their position, and, you know, maybe they might compete for a little something. So, Jacob, I have 3 teams in the bleh category. How many do you have?
In the bleh category, let's see. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3.
Okay. Would you like to go first, or would you like for me to go first?
I think you should take it away.
Okay, cool. My first team in the bleh category is, of course, Sauber. Sauber looked awful. They looked really bad. That car looked very slow, very sluggish, very hard to control, very hard to maneuver. Looked bad slow, looked bad at medium speed, looked bad at high speed. It's just not a well-built car. Nico Hülkenberg was complaining about it. Not necessarily complaining, but he just did not seem very optimistic about their chances. And, of course, Bortoleto is just kind of learning at this point. You know, as I said in my last episode, I'm not really worried about him. He's just got to learn and figure things out in F1. But he's clearly talented enough that eventually he'll find his way. And I think whenever Audi come into the picture, this car will literally look, and technically look way better.
Yeah, Sauber was on my list of bleh.
Yeah.
You said it as best as I could. They just look slow.
They look bleh. The car looks bleh. The performance looks bleh.
Everything
and
is
Nico
bleh.
Hülkenberg's face after the fact looked bleh.
Bleh.
My next team in the bleh category is V-Carb, or now known as Racing Bulls. I had higher expectations for Racing Bulls for testing, but they look almost a little faster, if not just as slow as the Saubers. Same thing, kind of hard to control, looked a little sloppy. Isaac Hadjar had a spin, I believe, testing day 2 or day 1. Doesn't look very fast, doesn't look very competitive. Maybe in the future might have the potential to compete in like that F1 B tier of car, where maybe they get some midfield surprises here and there, but that car doesn't look good. The only hope at this point is that Yuki Tsunoda pulls a crazy one and maybe gets like a 7th or a 6th at some point in the season.
Yeah. I also agree with you. The Racing Bulls are in there for me. As stunning as the car looks, unfortunately does not look as stunning to drive.
No.
And that's unfortunate for such a beautiful car. It's not going to get any TV time unless,
so sad.
Like you said, Yuki pulls something out of the bag and gets a good result.
I hope so.
I hope so too, but they just also look bleh.
Let's see if we can go 3 for 3, Jacob.
Yeah.
So far, we're 2 for 2.
Yes, yeah.
My third team in the bleh category, Aston Martin.
Boom!
Oh,
3 for 3.
3 for 3, baby. Wow, they look terrible.
Jeez.
Look, they looked bad last year. Honestly, at some points at the end of the year, they were the 9th fastest car. And that's bad for someone of Aston Martin's bank account balance to be that slow, let alone with the super team that they're building right now. They have some of the best technically in the industry. Other than the gentleman that they bought from Ferrari, he got in some legal stuff with them, so he won't be back till July. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. We'll pop it on the screen somewhere at some point.
You will?
Yeah, they didn't look good. They looked probably a little faster than they did after Abu Dhabi, and Fernando Alonso said the same thing. They took a step, but it didn't really look like a full step. It looked like a half step. They look not good. So hopefully when Adrian Newey puts pen to paper, that thing will get faster throughout the year, but I think he'll be more focused on 2026. And I also think, Jacob, you'll see that reflected in my standings predictions. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah, this thing doesn't look good. This thing does not look fast. No,
it doesn't. It doesn't look fast. It doesn't look good. They still have Lance Stroll behind the wheel.
They
do. And like we said earlier, or as we said in the last episode, Fernando Alonso, as great of a driver as he is, he cannot will that car to a good position. And yeah, I think they really just round out the bleh for me. I mean, I don't have any high expectations for Aston Martin whatsoever this season.
Me either.
Unfortunately.
And, that McLaren car back in the day was bad, but at least he could give some performances out of it. I don't think this thing is going to have the technical capability to do that for Fernando Alonso. And this is somebody that's probably one of the most adaptable drivers to ever drive a car. So I'm not very excited for Aston Martin this year. And it's okay. That car looks meh anyway.
Yeah.
But speaking of meh,
yeah.
We're going into the meh category. The teams that we thought were okay. They looked okay. Jacob, I have 2 teams here. How many do you have?
I have 3.
Oh, okay. This is different. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're not going to go 100%, but maybe we'll get close. I'm going to throw my first team out there, yeah?
Go ahead.
My first team in the meh category is Haas. Haas
Agreed.
looked all right. I don't like that the bodywork is flying off the car. That is not a good sign. That was not the first time that bodywork fell off the car. It also happened in the shakedown when Esteban Ocon drove the car earlier in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a known issue, but it seems like Ayo Komatsu said that they know what it is and they're going to change it. It might just be that the fastening on the side pod is just not tight enough, or it's not rigid enough. I mean, these teams now are just fighting to get that weight down to the minimum weight, and I mean they have to do everything in their power to make sure that they can shed some kilos. And they went a little too far this time, so they got to fix that. But they had the highest mileage throughout testing, so that was very promising. That they look reliable on long run. But in terms of speed, they just seem like they're in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So I give them a meh.
Yeah, I also give Haas a meh. They're in the middle of the pack like they have been, and they've been slowly getting better. I feel like a couple seasons ago they were at the back for sure, but now they're kind of towards the middle. They just seem meh to me, and I hope they do well. I hope that they can have some good performances where they get a little bit more than probably what they were expecting to get. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's pretty much just on the drivers of Esteban and Ali to extract everything that they can out of that car. And even when they do, they're going to get, pretty medium results, meh results.
I hope my Haas boys can do good this year. I'm hoping that my team can will some crazy results, and you might just hear about that in one of my predictions, Jacob. But we'll get to that a little later. So, hopefully, yeah, my Haas boys can ring something out. But we'll see in my predictions, Jacob. I have a interesting one in there that I think you'll find very fascinating.
I'm looking forward to it.
My next and my only other team in the meh category, we'll see if we go 5 for 5 at least, is Red Bull. I have Red Bull in the meh category. I think Red Bull are being selfish again. This design is not much of an evolution. It's pretty close to the car of last year. And it honestly just looks as difficult to drive. I mean, we saw that Max had some difficult moments. We saw Liam definitely had some difficult moments. He had a little pirouette at some point during testing. Luckily, didn't hit the barrier, but a little pirouette nonetheless. It looks just as hard to drive, and they did have some reliability things too. I was not impressed for a team that should be trying to give Max Verstappen a winning car and should be giving Liam Lawson enough of a chance to show that he deserves to be in that seat. The car does not look good enough compared to the competition, so I put Red Bull in the meh category.
I also put Red Bull in the meh
5 for 5, baby.
5 for 5. 5 for 5.
Nice.
I put Red Bull in the meh category for a lot of the same reasons as you. It looks difficult to drive. It looks like it was a step down from what they had last year and especially the year before that. And, I mean, they just look like they're struggling right now. And does that mean that they are dropped off the face of the earth? Absolutely not. They're definitely still going to be up there fighting for the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship with Max Verstappen. But, yeah, I mean, coming off of 4 years of dominance, their car looks meh this season.
Now, I only have 2 teams in the meh category. Jacob, you have 3.
I do.
Who is your third team in the meh category?
My third team in the meh category is the French outfit Alpine.
You lie! Oh my god. Why? That's so interesting.
I say they're just looking meh to me because, testing shows a lot, but it doesn't show everything.
Okay.
And although, they looked pretty strong at testing.
They look really good.
It is only testing. And I really do think when the season starts to shake down, Alpine is going to go back to where they usually are, just kind of in the middle. And it's going to be meh. So, although they look strong, they look pretty good during preseason testing. I'm not convinced. I took it with a grain of salt because, I mean, just Alpine doesn't really have the greatest track record. I mean, they did get the 1-2 last season. Let me not forget about the 1-2 last season.
Yup.
But yeah, it's hard for me to picture a world where they're doing better than just meh.
Wow. That's very interesting. I mean, this is a constructor team, Jacob. I mean, this is a big team we're talking about here. And,
It is indeed.
and they looked good. I mean, we'll see if that pans out for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
we will.
Well, I guess that kind of spoils where I put Alpine in terms of the remaining category. I put Alpine in. To me, they looked strong. They looked much better than they did last year. That is for sure. The only thing that I would say would be probably holding the back, maybe potentially, is of course, Jack Doohan is in the second car next to Pierre Gasly. We don't know what that's going to look like. We don't know what Jack's preparation looks like. We don't know how fast he's going to be. But last year, he did not convince me that he is fast enough to compete. With somebody of the likes of a Pierre Gasly, a race winner, an experienced driver, the number one at a team now, at a contending midfield, maybe heading into best of the rest team. The only thing that frankly would be holding them back is the lineup, because that car does look good. I did give them an They looked solid. So that means, Jacob,
Solid take.
in terms of the rest of the teams, we have them in So the only teams that we missed was Alpine.
Yeah.
We hit 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 where we agree. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean, the margin on Alpine was a little close. I mean, this is
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
weren't
you know.
entirely convinced by the car and the team. I'm not entirely convinced by the lineup, but the car looked good. So let's talk about the teams that surprised us. Then let's break down Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, and Williams. I guess we'll start with the current constructor champion. Let's talk about McLaren. In my opinion, from this test, McLaren are far and away the car to beat. This car looks for real. This car looks serious. It looks reliable. This thing is a contender, and this is what Lando Norris needs to win his maiden F1 championship.
Absolutely. It looks good, looks reliable, looks fast. It looks like it will be a platform that is capable of winning a championship, and we'll see if Lando and possibly even Oscar take advantage of that very solid platform that they have in that McLaren car this season. Looks great.
This thing looks for real. Let's move on to the other teams that we put in the category. Let's talk about runner-up last year. Let's talk about Ferrari. They looked great, but are they going to be a championship contending car? That's if they don't make the mistake of falling off like they always do. You know, if you remember back in the day when these regulations just started, they won a 1-2 in that first race, and Max and Checo DNF'd. And it looked like Ferrari were up. This might be the year of Charles Leclerc in the first championship. And then we were sorely mistaken as they slowly but surely started to taper off, and Red Bull slowly but surely started to gain, and not only gain but surpass, and then convincingly beat them. So it's not really necessarily down to... I mean, of course, it's going to be down to Charles Leclerc. I think he's going to be the guy that competes. I think this year it's a learning year for Lewis Hamilton. Who knows? He might pull some legendary magic out of his pocket and just drive the hell out of this Ferrari. We talked about it last episode where you think this is standing on business Hamilton. This is not like us Hamilton. Who knows what he can pull out of his bag this year? But I'm not entirely convinced. He's got to learn a lot. This is a new car. It's a new system. It's a new team. It's a new everything. So I think Charles Leclerc is going to be the one to go for it. It's more so if Ferrari don't fall into the same old habits that have inhibited them from winning the Constructors Championship since 2007.
Yeah. Wow. What else can I really say about Ferrari besides, like, yeah, they look strong. They look like they will be able to contend this year. Hopefully they keep up throughout the season, unlike previous seasons. But yeah, I definitely can never count out Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he is the GOAT for a reason. He has pulled out some of the greatest drives in Formula One history, some of the greatest laps in Formula One history. I mean, like, that pole lap at Singapore in 2018, I believe.
Crazy.
That was
Inhuman. It's
inhuman, like literally beautiful to witness. And so I don't think I will be able to count out Lewis Hamilton. But of course, you know, it is a new team, a new system, new language, everything that he'll have to relearn. Charles Leclerc is obviously, you know, I think this is his 7th or 8th season now with Ferrari, and he's embedded in that team. He's part of the DNA. But yeah, they're looking strong. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do, and I believe that they're going to perform well this season.
Agreed. Agreed. Let's move on to the next one that I have in the category, which is Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Honestly, it's a toss-up between Ferrari and Mercedes in terms of who out of the gate is the second fastest car. They look about just as fast as each other. And it seems like Mercedes have finally figured it out. It seems like they finally honed down the philosophy of this car. And not only does George look fast, but that kid Kimi looks fast. And that's that's a dangerous thing for a changing Ferrari team with a newly reinvigorated Lewis Hamilton. Will he be able to perform consistently enough to sway away the young gun of a Kimi Antonelli that, will be the number 2 to a George Russell that is also getting just better and better and better. We look back at the George Russell that we met at that Rocket Williams team, and then we look at the George Russell that we have now. It is just miles away a better driver. Much better, much more polished. The composure, not entirely there. I mentioned in the last episode, for me personally, it's between the Brits this year. This is the year of the Brits, in my opinion. I think Russell really needs to show that he can contend for the title with a solid car. But I think Kimi will have just as an insane of a year, a Alfa Romeo, Charles Leclerc level type of year where we're just going to look at this kid and say he is special. So this Mercedes car, if they continue pushing, as Lewis used to say, they could be up there. They could be up there for the rest of the year.
I have to 100% agree. I mean, I wouldn't have put them in the category if I didn't think so. And yeah, I mean, you said it great. George Russell is looking great. And I'm sure he's coming into this season with a new confidence, knowing that he is number 1. He gets to lead the charge. He gets to lead the team. And just really step into that role of number 1 driver. And I'm sure not having Lewis Hamilton breathing down your back every Sunday has to be a relief. Now he'll be breathing down his back in another car, which is, could be a different thing, but a different challenge. But regardless, Mercedes is looking very good. George is looking good. He is also one of those drivers who has been with the team for a while. So now he's pretty embedded in there. He understands what's going on. He understands how it works. And he's looking strong. And like you said, that Kimi Antonelli kid, he is just looking fire. He is looking fast. He is looking confident. And I really have high hopes and expectations for Mercedes this season. The only thing that I will say is that with Kimi, as special as he looks, as we do know, Formula One is a difficult sport. Driving a Formula One is a difficult thing, and especially when you're trying to get to grips with a car for the first time and taking that step up. I believe Kimi will struggle a little bit. I think he's going to be very fast, but the moments that he doesn't, it's going to be hard hits, crashes, because I can tell just by his driving style already from preseason testing that he is taking that car past its limit every corner, every curb. And with that, so it seems just like a very high risk, high reward type of driving style. And we'll see how that shakes out. With some of these circuits being street circuits, very close corners, very high speed, walls, barriers, very close to the track. I mean, with that very risky, high risk, high reward driving style that Kimi Antonelli has, he might struggle. He might struggle to keep it in one piece in certain races, but the races that he keeps all 4 wheels on the tarmac, he's going to be electric. But overall, I think Mercedes is going to do very, very well this season.
100%. I mean, Andrea Kimi is only a teenager. He has so much time to go, but the fact that he does look as fast as he does in a car that is looking competitive this year is something that the likes of Ferrari and McLaren and Red Bull should be afraid of.
Absolutely. He drives like a sim racer. It's crazy.
Man, he looks incredible. What that kid is doing on a track. What that kid is doing in that car. It's insane. Choke.
Hey.
All right, the last team in the category, which, oh boy, I'm feeling good about them. Let's talk about Williams.
Woo!
Oh boy.
The boys in blue.
Well, blue and white. It's because they got the white overalls, which look sharp. They do look sharp.
They do.
Sophisticated. Man, I feel good about this Williams team this year. I kind of raved about it a little bit last episode, but man, you know, if you feel the way you feel about Alpine, and I feel the way that I feel about their lineup, this Williams team could finish best of the rest.
Absolutely.
I mean, if they're looking the way that they're looking, if they are really take care of their resources and their finances, we could see this team really take a serious step forward instead of kind of staying in the same place due to, you know, all the crazy crashes last year and the amount of money that they lost with Albon and Sargent just hitting the walls constantly. They need some consistency. They need some solid driving. But this car looks like a real solid piece of machinery. That thing looks fun to drive.
Yeah, it really does look fun to drive. And not only does it look fun to drive, they have two very good drivers behind the wheel. They are in good hands. But as you said, they cannot afford, literally and figuratively, to mess up that car, to damage that car, to get into crashes like they were doing for the past couple seasons, because that's definitely been killing them. They need a Pierre Gasly 2024 season performance where he cost $0 in damage.
Only makes you money. That's right.
Exactly. They need one of these seasons, but I totally agree. They are looking sharp this season. So quick, and yeah, I might have to agree with you that they would be fighting for best of the rest. Hey, maybe even that maiden Carlos Sainz Williams win.
Oh. Well, we'll see in our predictions right now.
We'll see. Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
I know now, for the ladies and gentlemen watching at home, we're going to do a couple things for the predictions. I came up with some very fun categories. So, of course, you have the classic constructors standings, you know, worst from 10 all the way to the winner at 1. I also have the worst team, driver, and rookie. I decided to separate the rookies because I think we should evaluate them in a different light since their first year, as well as best team, driver, rookie. We have the underdog category for both team and driver. Essentially, the driver and the team that we think will be competing consistently, and maybe sometimes we count them out, but they continue to impress and deliver solid results. And then we have the category of underbog. Essentially the team and driver that we think is just not gonna be good enough. And then after that, we have the best teammate pairing. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's literally on paper the best teammate pairing, more so the teammate duo that we think are going to work incredibly well together. They're not going to clash. They're not going to do this. It's going to be nice and solid, and it's going to help elevate and push their team forward. And then we have, of course, the worst teammate pairing, the teammate pairing that we think is going to be detrimental to their team and their performance as a constructor. And then, of course, we predict the world champion. And then I have 2 to 3 more fun ones. We have the logical predictions, so essentially things that, based on some evidence within the paddock and the news and how things have been going, we think could happen, and some illogical predictions, things that evidence has not necessarily pointed to, but maybe based on vibes, they could happen. And then, last but not least, the pure superstition prediction. The most just absurd, impossible thing that could happen this year. That's your pure superstition prediction. So
Looking forward to it.
I want to go through the predictions, and then we'll do the standings. So, Jacob, let's start with our worst team, our worst driver, and our worst rookie prediction of the year. I'm going to start with my worst team. Aston Martin. I think Aston Martin, to me, will be the worst performing team of the year. What is your prediction?
Worst team, I mean, I touched a little bit on it earlier, and I touched a little bit on it episode 1. Have to give it to Sauber. I have no expectations for them except for last place. 19th and 20th.
Yeah, it looks like a brutal year for Sauber. I mean, for Aston Martin, I don't think they'll be dead last, but I think they will be close. It just seems very clear that they are going to be focusing on next year. And, Adrian Newey is going to be hard at work trying to come up with a car that can compete within the new regulations. And I just don't think their focus is this year. This is just going to kind of be a gap year. Very similar to what happened to Ferrari after the whole power unit scandal. These years happen. They're not as uncommon as before, especially with the salary cap. I mean, the budget cap, excuse me. We might see these more often in F1, but I think this is that year for Aston Martin. Worst driver of the year. Jacob.
I
have gone for Liam Lawson. I think Liam Lawson will be the worst driver of the year.
Wow.
That's right. Now, let me explain myself a little bit.
Please, go ahead.
He just historically hasn't done enough for me. He hasn't convinced me that he deserves to be in that spot. That car looks not as good as last year's. It doesn't look as easy to drive. He needs to show that adaptability. I don't know if he has it in him, but at this current point in time, with the evidence that I've seen, I don't think he's going to live up to it. I really don't think that he's going to be able to pull it out of the bag. And who knows, maybe he gets replaced mid-season if things really go bad, really, really bad. Only time will tell, but as of right now, based on how he looks on track and how tense the pressure is for that second seat, I think Liam Lawson will have the worst performance of the year.
Interesting. Very interesting. That is not who I thought you were going to say at all.
What do you think I was going to say?
I thought we were going to agree on this.
Oh.
And it was going to be Lance Stroll.
Okay. Well, I don't want to pick the obvious pick.
Right. I know it's a cop out, but the reason why I disagree with Lawson is because although yes, the pressure of that second seat is high, and as we've seen, there does seem to be some sort of curse around that second seat. Let's not even get it twisted. I think with, at least from what I've seen Liam Lawson say, and generally his driving style, I think he is going to be incredibly aggressive and just not even give any craps whatsoever, which I think could save him.
Okay.
So I had to go with the obvious choice and just say Lance Stroll. I have no expectations for Lance Stroll. Nothing.
Yeah, it's
nothing.
It's
It's Lance Stroll.
It's like Lance Stroll. Lance gets his own category. You know what I mean?
Dude, his last name is literally Stroll.
Yeah.
It's not even run, walk, sprint. He's taking a stroll in that goddamn car.
You make a valid point. Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah. Damn. You're right.
So that's
Worst rookie. This one is tough because I don't want to put too much pressure on our boys. You know, it's their first year, but there's got to be one of the 5 that just is not good enough. And I picked one, of course, and we're staying in the Red Bull family. I think it's Isaac Hadjar. I think Isaac Hadjar will be the worst rookie of the year. I think kind of like what we've been maybe hinting at, I think Yuki Tsunoda will absolutely murder this kid. It won't even be a competition. And who knows? We could be wrong. Maybe this kid's really fast.
Yeah.
He was fighting Gabriel Bortoleto, but it was his own mistakes that cost him the F2 championship last year. So he's got to keep a cool head because we know that Red Bull doesn't like hotheads. You know? So, but yeah, he's not as prepared as Kimi or as Ollie. He just doesn't convince me that he belongs here, to be honest. Even though, you know, Red Bull do believe in him and he is in that second seat, there's just not enough evidence that he deserved the step up compared to his other F2 counterparts at the time. So, just off of, you know, the little that we do know about Isaac Hadjar, I almost forgot about him last episode. I think he'll have the worst season out of all the rookies this year.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, it was a toss-up for me between 2 rookies.
Oh.
One of them was Hadjar.
Okay.
The other one, which did end up becoming my pick,
Okay.
Jack Doohan.
Oh, wow. Oh, so you're predicting what I think you're predicting later, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow. Poor Jack.
Yeah.
I gave him a chance.
Poor Jackie boy.
I
don't know. Just everything about his position that he's in right now, it just so seems like everyone, including the team that he's driving for, is really just kind of using him as a placeholder on the off chance that he puts together some solid performances. And if not, they're immediately sacking him for Colapinto.
Yep, he's just sitting there on the wings waiting to pounce on that second seat in Alpine. I mean, you know, they picked up Colapinto for a reason. He was an expensive buy, I imagine, for Alpine. You know, you don't just get somebody of that caliber to be your reserve without kind of, you know, nipping Doohan in the butt a little bit. Just to be like, hey, this guy's here. If you don't perform, you're out.
Yeah.
To me, honestly, it was kind of between Hadjar and Doohan, but I am giving Doohan the benefit of the doubt because he does look fast. He does look like he's capable enough to drive that car. Whether he lives up to the expectations of Alpine, who knows? Maybe he, in our opinion, as the season goes on, he will look fast enough to us, but then just out of nowhere he gets dropped.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's F1. It's a brutal business. It's a brutal sport. But I think that's a valid prediction, to be honest with you. Honestly, if I really wasn't being generous, I probably would have given it to Doohan as well. So, let's move on to some good stuff. Let's move on to some of the goodies. Let's talk about the best team. Who do we think is going to exceed expectations? I kind of hinted at it earlier, so maybe you'll see where this pick is coming from. My best team of the year is Mercedes-Benz.
Ooh.
Yes. I think Mercedes are going to really compete. I think this year is the year of Mercedes powertrains. They are going to kill it. Murder. The car looks solid. The team is solid. They look rejuvenated unfortunately, now that Lewis is gone. This is a new identity. This is a new era, and they look to be thriving in this next chapter. So, really, off of just pure evidence and vibes, I think Mercedes are really going to give a solid impression heading into 26.
That's a solid, respectable answer. Mine is not Mercedes.
Okay.
The team that I feel is going to exceed expectations this season is Williams.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
the direction that they've been headed, I think the driver lineup that they have, of course, I don't think they're going to be the best. I'm not saying that I think that they're going to be fighting for the championship whatsoever. But do I think that they are going to completely exceed the expectations of me and other people? 100%. That's why I chose them as my best team to completely exceed expectations this upcoming season. I think they have all the right ingredients. They just need to get the recipe right.
Okay. I can respect that answer. I think I've already set my expectations for Williams very high, which is why I didn't pick them. But I felt like Mercedes are in a very unique position.
Absolutely.
They're kind of like the other side of the coin to how the Ferrari vibes are. And it's just a new chapter, and they look real solid, and I think it's going to pan out for them. But I put Williams in a different part of my predictions, so they will pocket back up for me.
We will see. We will see.
My best driver of the year. Who is my driver of the year? Who am I predicting to exceed my expectations this year? I have picked Charles Leclerc.
Ooh, my boy.
Charles Leclerc is my driver of the year.
Tell us.
Right. Okay, so I said it's between the Brits this year. I did. I said it's between the Brits. But you'll see later in my predictions where this kind of comes into play. It'll be between the Brits right at the end. And that also means that there will be other drivers playing for the championship right at the end. And I believe one of them that will be very close and take second place in the Drivers' Championship will be Charles Leclerc.
Wow.
This man, he just keeps... We talk about George Russell getting better. He takes a step. Charles takes 2 or 3 steps every year. Even when the car isn't that great, even when the car isn't competing for the title, oh my God, it's like he becomes a new driver every year, and it's like, God damn it, what does it take to beat Max Verstappen? Like, he's so good, and yet he hasn't won a title, and it's so frustrating to me. And, I like to pride myself as being a Haas fan, but I'm really just an F1 fan. I honestly just want to see Charles Leclerc hoist up the Drivers' Championship. I really do. I think he deserves it. He does. And I think he'll get so close. He'll get so close this year, but it won't be close enough.
Wow.
But damn, he'll impress. Damn, he'll impress. He'll show that he deserves to be champion, but he won't get it. Just barely. He won't get it.
Whew. That's a good one. That is a good one.
Thank you.
Because my best driver of the 2025 season
Is...
Lewis Hamilton.
Oh!
I feel exactly the same way that you feel about Charles this season.
Oh,
Lewis
shit.
Hamilton.
Oh, my God.
I think Lewis Hamilton is obviously very talented. I mean, he's the GOAT. He is the GOAT.
The most successful driver of all time.
Of all time. And yes, he is going to be adapting to a new system, a new car, and everything. But I think he's going to catch on a lot quicker than people are expecting. And probably in 2-3 races, he's going to have... He's going to be 90% of the way there.
That is bold. That is very bold, Jacob.
I think 2 or 3 races, he'll be 90% of the way there. And after that, it's just the little details. Wow. And if there's anything that we can count on Lewis Hamilton to be the absolute best at is 100% pure focus on the tiny, minute details. Because as he said, does not have a wife, does not have kids, does not have a girlfriend. He has nothing else to focus on in his life besides winning.
Damn.
And I think he's going to be the best driver this season.
Stand on business Hamilton is who's
Stand on business
betting
Hamilton
on this year to be his driver of the year, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. Let's move on to best rookie. Who do we think is going to really shine between the 5 that have come into the new year?
I think I know your answer.
My pick for best rookie of the year 2025 is Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
Boom.
Wow, dude, this kid is just... What else can we say that we haven't already said? He's so
Exactly.
fast, and he's only a teenager. He just got his driver's license, and he's driving the fastest car in the world at a level of speed that is reminiscent of, dare I say, a 16-year-old Max Verstappen, dare I say. We're looking at
Absolutely.
the next
Absolutely.
generation of maybe champion. Who knows? A lot of people are setting a high bar for Andrea Kimi Antonelli. I don't want to go too ahead of myself because he's only a boy. But, man, I mean, he's going to do some serious stuff this year. I'm predicting podiums. I'm predicting poles. I am predicting wins for this kid. He's going to be serious, Jacob. Serious. He's my rookie of the year.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I'm right there with you. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, he really seems like the real deal when it comes to just how he looks on track and just his demeanor in interviews and everything. He just seems like the rookie to beat this season. And, I mean, he is the rookie with the best chance to do some serious damage. I mean, he is in that Mercedes car, which is looking very, very strong this season, and I really think that this is the mark of the next generation, and you know, he might be the prototype. He might be the prototype. So very, very excited. I think he 100% agree. Best rookie this season.
Ooh, we agree on this one. Okay.
We do.
Both I and Jacob think Andrea Kimi Antonelli is the rookie of the year in the F1 2025 season. You know, it's so funny, just to kind of draw this parallel as we're having this conversation. It's so funny how in like professional football, or as Americans say, professional soccer, and now in F1, you see these kids just dominating. I mean, look at Lamine Yamal. Now look at Andrea Kimi Antonelli. We are in an era where medical science and athletic science has just been able to propel the potential of these kids to levels that we've never seen before, and it's so impressive to see this kid at the highest level of racing. Oh man, it's gonna be exciting.
Oh yeah,
next year.
And especially now that, I mean, these kids have access to hundreds and thousands of hours of the highest level of whatever sport, whatever profession that you're trying to get into.
State of the art.
There, you can go on YouTube for free and watch hundreds of hours of the highest level and just absorb all of that. And I mean, this is just, I mean, it is totally reminiscent of what's happening right now. I mean, as I said, I think earlier in this episode, if not on the first episode, that Kimi drives like he's in a sim rig. He drives like he is racing a fake car in a virtual world. He is fearless with those curbs. His driving style is aggressive. It is fast. It is risky, but the reward is high. He is quick.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, we're gonna move on to underdog and underbog. Just to remind the audience what underdog and underbog is. Underdog will be the team and the driver, that we won't think about being able to deliver some high quality results, but they end up doing it consistently this year. Underbog will be the teams that we do think will deliver results, but will under-deliver. The team and driver, that we think will deliver results, but will under-deliver. We are going to start with underdog. My underdog of the year for the 2025 F1 season is Williams.
Ooh.
I think Williams are going to pack a punch. I think they're going to be taking away some results from the top teams. You and I both think that Carlos Sainz might bag a win, or maybe I think he might bag two, depending on the circumstances. This is going to be a very, very good year for Williams. This is going to be a solid year, and that the lineup is good, the car is good. I mean, we've said it all about Williams. They're my underdog team of the year.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I could have saw that one come in. I definitely agree with you on a lot of your points of why you would choose Williams as your underdog, but I disagree.
Okay.
The team that I thought was going to be the underdog and deliver results when unexpected is Haas.
You picked my boys.
I did pick your boys.
Oh my God.
I think Haas is a little bit of a
What do
dark
your standings look like? I'm so curious.
dark horse.
Wow.
Like, we don't really have that many big expectations for Haas, but I mean that driver lineup is looking really good, and I think that if they stay consistent, they can really could deliver some real results.
Okay. All right. I'm with this. I like that. Okay, Jacob. Okay.
Yeah.
Underdog team of the year. Okay. Well, you're going to like my underdog driver then, because my underdog driver of the 2025 season is Ollie Behrman.
Boom.
Let me tell you something about Ollie Behrman, ladies and gentlemen. The Ferrari prodigy, the next in line to take that seat from Lewis Hamilton when he retires from racing. This kid may not have the level of car that a Andrea Kimi Antonelli might have, but he's going to pull some impressive stuff out the bag. I'm talking Alfa Romeo Charles Leclerc level of impressive. This is going to be a showcase of raw talent. It won't be consistent. It'll happen here and there, because this is a Haas team that is still building. It's growing. We're seeing these partnerships form with the likes of Toyota. They're expanding slowly but surely. F1 is a profitable business model now. It's going to take time for Haas to get to that point where they can compete with Williams that have really taken a serious step forward. We can say the same about Alpine. They're lucky that Racing Bulls and Aston Martin are taking a step back this year. But they're not going to be, in my opinion, good enough to justify them as the underdog team. But I do think Ollie Behrman has got some serious minerals, and he's going to do some crazy things. And you'll see later in my predictions, Jacob, that I think he's going to do some crazy things. Oliver Behrman is my underdog driver of the year.
Nice. I really respect that. I am also big fan, rooting heavy for Ollie Behrman, but he is not who I chose to be my underdog driver.
Bum, bum, bum.
My underdog driver, which I had to think a while on, because it was really a toss-up between so many. I feel like there's a lot of people who would be in positions this year to get unexpected good results. But the driver that I chose is actually Yuki Tsunoda.
Very good pick. Honestly, it was between him, Russell, and Behrman for me.
Yeah.
I think Tsunoda is a solid pick. Please explain your decision.
I chose Yuki Tsunoda because although he is not in the fastest car, and if anything, we're expecting the Racing Bull to be towards the back, I think him not getting chosen to take the step up, take that second Red Bull seat, I think that's going to light a fire under him this season.
Standing on business, Tsunoda. I like it.
Yup. Oh. Standing on business, Tsunoda. And he's really, really going to push hard this year and get those unexpected good results. 7, 6, 5ths even. Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe a fourth?
Maybe a fourth. Who knows? Maybe even a podium.
Third?
maybe a podium. Let's not go too crazy.
Maybe a
but
pole
I
in
think
the wet
in Japan,
in Japan.
that would be crazy.
Oh.
But I wouldn't put it past him. I definitely think that Yuki Tsunoda, for me, is the driver who I think is going to be the biggest underdog for the car that he has this season.
Valid. Okay. Yuki Tsunoda is Jacob's underdog driver of the year. Now let's get to people that we think should be good, but probably won't be that good this year. The underbogs of the year. Jacob, my team underbog of the year is Red Bull Racing.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to fumble the bag. People have been leaving. The car looks tricky. Maybe Max Verstappen wins the championship, but they might not reach the really high highs that they've been reaching recently. They might just win it by a margin. Just barely. Maybe get fourth in the constructors. Shoot, Williams might be fighting for that fourth spot as well, depending on how good they are.
Wow.
But I think they just won't show the same mettle that they've shown the past 4 years. Max Verstappen is obviously good enough to win the championship in a car that is not good enough, but I don't think Red Bull has it in them this year. Red Bull are my underdog team of the year.
Wow. That is an interesting prediction
Thank you.
because I also chose the same team.
No! Yes!
The underdog
Red
for
Bull Racing!
Jacob is Red Bull Racing.
Oh.
I think they are going to underperform. I think people are really going to think that they're going to do well this season. I think they're only going to drop off. And I think their only saving grace is having Max Verstappen behind the wheel. I think he is able to take that car to places where it should not be able to go.
Agreed.
And he'll still be able to pull out some good performances. And like you said, he might still win that 5th championship, but only by a little bit. But overall, I think we're going to be pretty disappointed by Red Bull's performance this season. But that means that the rest of the season, the rest is going to be really exciting.
I agree. Wow. Our pick for underdog of the year. Yes, our pick for underdog of the year.
Our pick.
Is Red Bull Racing. Oof.
Tough.
Yeah. End of an era.
End of an era.
It was real. It was fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah, but it ain't real fun when you're losing. Now, underdog driver of the year. The driver that we may expect to do well, but won't. Jacob, my underdog driver of the year is, and you might not believe that I'm about to say this, Fernando Alonso.
Oh, I was not expecting that. That's your boy.
That's my boy. That's my goat. My favorite, my all-time great, Fernando Alonso, is going to be mid. I think Fernando Alonso just won't. This car is just going to really suck. And there's only so much a man can do. There's only so much a man can do, as the wise, whoever said that once said. It's not going to be his fault. It's not you, Aston Martin. It's not me, actually. It's not me, Fernando Alonso. It's you, Aston Martin. He's just not. He just won't be able to pull out the results that we're expecting. It's not that he's getting older. It's not that he's not good enough. It's, damn, that car's going to be slow. And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Fernando Alonso is my underdog of the year.
Wow. That was completely unexpected.
I'm shedding tears just thinking about him being 14th or something, and being on the radio like, this car is stupid. This car is GP2 engine, GP3 engine.
Don't talk to me for the rest of the race.
Not talk to me. Do not speak to me. Do not speak to me. I am champion. Do not speak to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Completely unexpected.
Yeah, I know. It hurts me. It hurts me. I'm gut wrenched right now. I'm dying.
I also have a gut-wrenching prediction
Oh.
that brings me to tears,
Oh.
having to think about it. But I think the underdog driver of this season, the driver that I have high expectations for, but will fall short, unfortunately, Lando Norris.
Oh
I hate to say it.
no!
I
No, my boy.
I know.
Oh, the
I
people's
know.
champ.
The people's champ,
Oh my god.
Lando Norris. Look, he really was starting to prove himself last season, really taking the fight to Max Verstappen in the drivers' championship last year. But this year, with him having the fastest car, and this year also having the most competition at the top, I think I think he's going to crack under the pressure. Not all the time. I don't think he's going to crack under the pressure every single race, but it only takes one.
Momentum is a big deal in F1.
It is.
Yeah.
It only takes one. I mean, look, just 4 years ago for the 2021 championship against Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, that went down to the 1 point. 1 point in the last race. Whoever was in front of the other person won the championship.
And then Michael Massey crawled up from the 7th gate of hell to give Max Verstappen his first championship.
Oh my God.
And then we can even go even a little bit further back. Sebastian Vettel crashing in Germany in 2017.
Yes, that's another big one.
Completely derailed his championship fight. He was not the same driver after that crash.
Exactly. And he was leading that race in dominant fashion.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is one mistake.
All it takes is one.
When the margins are this fine in a sport that is this ruthless, it only takes one mistake. And unfortunately, I see Lando making one. And it only takes one, and I think that might be the death blow.
And you just can't recover. Wow.
So unfortunately, as hard as it is for me to admit, Lando Norris is my underdog driver of the 2025 season.
Wow, so you don't think Lando's going to be champion?
I really want him to be, but I don't know.
Ooh, we're going to find out in a few moments, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to move on. We're going to go into best teammate pairing and worst teammate pairing. Best teammate pairing, once again, is the teammate pairing that we think is going to really elevate their team. Worst teammate pairing is going to be the teammate pairing that does not elevate their team to success. Jacob, based on how I've been talking about a certain team this episode, I think you're kind of know who I'm going to pick as the best teammate pairing for this year.
I think I got an idea.
My best teammate pairing for the 2025 the 2025 season, is George Russell and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. These young boys are going to be up there. They're going to be solid. This team is going to be solid. I don't see it any other way. They're really going to elevate this Mercedes team. And they're hungry. They're really hungry to prove themselves. And it's going to show this year. They're my best teammate pairing of 2025, George Russell and Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
That's a good one. I was stuck between two pairings. Okay. One of them was the one that you just mentioned, George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. I think they are going to work really well with each other. I think George Russell, especially him, outside of the track, taking lead in things like the drivers' union, let's call it, and stuff like that. I think he will definitely take that role of mentor and really take Kimi underneath his wing. But that's not who I picked for my best team pairing. My best team pairing is Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. Hey-o. At Williams.
There it is.
I think that Alex, well, first off, I think both of them being at Williams, knowing the position that Williams is at and the trajectory that they want to go, I think both of them are going to be really, really locked in on maximizing everything they can to take that team to where they want it to be. So I don't think it's going to be much of an internal fight between the team, between the drivers,
sure.
as so much as they are going to really, really try to team up this season to take Williams to hopefully best of the rest, maybe even farther. So I think that is going to be the best one for me. I think Alex is gonna really help Carlos get in and integrate into the team, and I think Carlos is going to really push and elevate Alex to become a better driver.
All right. I like it. Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon are Jacob's teammate pairing of the year. Now let's get into the ones that we don't think are going to do so hot for their teams. The worst teammate pairing of the year. Jacob, my worst teammate pairing for 2025 is Max Verstappen and Liam Lawson.
Ooh.
And it's not going to be Max's fault. Remember, Liam Lawson is my worst driver of the year. This will not be Max Verstappen's fault. This will be Liam Lawson's fault. He will fumble the bag. Nothing against Liam. He seems like a nice guy. Just off the interviews and the vibes. But I think the carousel continues. It's not Liam's fault. This car sucks. This car sucks. And I wouldn't be surprised if it sucks so bad that Liam sucks and then he's out by the end of the year.
Wow. Bold prediction.
Indeed.
Because I also said the same thing.
Oh, baby! The Red Bull slander continues. Oh, my God.
I also think Max Verstappen and Liam Lawson are going to be the worst pair on the grid.
Oh, my God.
I think, as you said, the car is looking bad this year, but I actually don't even think it's going to be just Liam is going to underperform and the carousel will continue. I think Liam is going to fight Max too hard, and they are not going to like that.
Oh, they're going to lead the Constructors Championship, you may think.
I think that they are going to butt heads. I think that the way Liam talks about how he is not in F1 to make friends, he is in F1 to win, and being against arguably the most psychotic winner in Formula One is going to be a fiery pairing, and not in a good way.
Wow. Look at us agreeing once again. Our worst teammate pairing of the 2025 season is Max Verstappen and Liam Lawson. Wow. Well, maybe we'll agree on one more thing, Jacob. Because now we're about to pick who will be world champion. I want to have fun with this one. How about we count to 3 and we say it at the same time?
Okay. Do you have a piece of paper near you by any chance? Paper and a pen?
I have paper and I have a pen. Yes, I do.
All right.
We're gonna write this on there, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll write it down and we'll show at the same time.
Well, mine is a letter. Mine is a letter, so it's gonna be small, but I'll get it close to the camera.
No worries.
Well, that'd be great if my pen worked. All right.
God, this is so contentious for me. Honestly,
I'm ready.
I've been going back and forth all day, and I don't know, but
I'm gonna hold it right here for the camera. Alrighty. On 3, we're gonna reveal our prediction for world champion. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Oh! No way! Oh my God! No! Really? Really? Oh my God!
Yes.
Holy shit! Wait, I want you to go first. I need you to explain this to me.
It was...
Lewis Hamilton, world champion?
Wow, man. You don't know how hard I've been thinking about this.
Oh my God!
I mean, I have been going back and forth in my brain between Lando, between Charles, between George, between Max, between Lewis, even Oscar. Sometimes I was thinking that maybe he could be up there.
Valid.
But if the Ferrari is as strong this year as we are seeing, as we are hoping, I think we might have an 8th world championship for Lewis Hamilton this year.
Wow. Oh my God. That would be so poetic.
It would.
Oh, for Lewis Hamilton, year 1 to win in red. Oh my God.
That would be legendary.
Wow. We've been talking about adaptability, and we've been talking about Lewis getting into this new situation and having doubts that he might not be able to do it. But damn it if he does. And beats Charles Leclerc that is searching for his championship, his first championship for so long.
Yeah.
To win number 8. Oh my God. It would change the trajectory of so many careers. It would make Lewis the GOAT. Lewis would be the greatest.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly.
Bar none. There's no discussion. I would change my mind about Fernando Alonso that fast. Wow. Oh, what a prediction. Lewis Hamilton, world champion.
Lewis Hamilton,
God.
world champion.
Number 8. Wow, that's bold. Wow,
I'm a bold guy. What can I say?
Okay, well, I'll explain myself. I
Go ahead.
picked number 5 for Max Verstappen. Like we've said many times over the podcast, this man has won in every circumstance. Who's to say that he can't do it one more time?
Yeah.
The odds, for the most part, throughout his championship runs have been against him. And he's been able to pull it out of the bag somehow, by the grace of Christian Horner's ass hairs. He's been able to do it. I think he'll do number 5. And you'll see later in my predictions, I have some layers on top of that.
Okay.
As to how he'll get there. So I'll explain myself a little bit later as to why, in depth, as to why I chose Max Verstappen. But I think Max Verstappen will win 5 in a row. Max Verstappen, world champion.
I don't think that's a bad prediction whatsoever. I mean, you can never count him out.
Nope. Wow. Oh my God, Jacob.
Wow, that was
Lewis
awesome.
Hamilton, world champion.
That was fun.
I think Max Verstappen 5 in a row. Wow. What a reveal. What a moment.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That was awesome.
Now we're gonna get to the fun part.
Woo.
Well, actually, before we do that, before we get to the fun part, let's actually do the constructor standings. Why not?
Okay.
Since we've already talked about the teams in like a slightly logical way, everything else is really superstitious. We might as well go from worst to best. All right? Okay. Why not?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Our constructors' predictions. Jacob, I think you and I agree as to who number 10 is going to be.
We do.
The worst team of the year is Kick Sauber.
Yup.
They're the worst team of the
Bing
year.
bong.
Wow, they are going to be terrible. Yep, number 10, worst team of the year by far. No way, no Jose,
questions
that
asked.
they're anywhere else. Nope. Now this is where it gets fun for me, Jacob, because I think at number 9 this might just knock you out of your chair. The 9th worst team in F1 on my board is Aston Martin.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
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 All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I am not mad at that. I
All
am
right.
not mad at that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. All right.
It's crazy considering that they came fifth last season.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, with everything that we've seen and everything that we've talked about so far, I don't hate it.
Okay. All right. Wow. Who did you have at number 9, if I may?
At number 9, I had the Racing Bulls.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess to move up, I have them at number 8. Like I said, I think Aston Martin are just going to focus on next year. They're going to be slow. They're going to be shit. Lance Stroll isn't going to help them get any higher than 9th, in my opinion. Fernando's going to do his best, but not enough. And I think that car will be, well, Racing Bull's car now would be just good enough. They'll be just good enough to eke out not second worst, even though they do look slow right now. They'll develop a bit and they'll get up there. Yeah. Who do you have at number 8, Mr. Jacob?
Well, this is where we flip-flopped.
Okay.
You picked Aston Martin for number 9, Racing Bulls for number 8.
Okay.
I did the opposite.
Okay.
I picked Racing Bulls for number 9 and Aston Martin for number 8.
Okay. Same logic, I guess?
Same logic. You know, they're just kind of taking the gap year, doing whatever they can to just,
Vibe.
get through the season.
Just coast.
And that's it. And so, yeah, I'm not really expecting much higher than 8th.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think from 7th on, it might get a little bit all over the place. We'll see. At number 7, for me, I have my boys at Haas.
Agreed.
I think this is a conservative prediction on my end. But I just think that the Alpine and the Williams in that midfield pack will just be better. I think they'll just be better. And it's nothing against the Haas team. I think they will get quicker throughout the year. They'll eke out some surprises, as you'll hear in my predictions later. But, yeah, I just don't see them getting any higher than that. They'll drop a little bit, but it's not their fault. They will get faster. It's just more so that everybody else is just faster than them. That's it.
Yeah.
Haas at number 7.
I agree. Haas at number 7. I think that they're going to do just fine, and they're going to, try to eke out all the performance that they can, and then that's it. But I definitely think they're going to do better than Sauber, Racing Bulls, Aston Martin. And I have to really give it to the Haas guys, because when we're thinking about their team, I mean, like, the top teams, they got thousands of employees. And I'm pretty sure the Haas F1 team itself only has, like, 200 employees, which is ridiculous. So when we were really thinking about it, I mean, I'm really rooting for Haas, especially when they're just so underfunded than all the other teams. But I still think, number 7 is where I'm going to place them.
Yeah. In a way, Haas are like the new Force India. They're a small team. They eke out results with what they got. And, they keep it trucking. Keep it moving.
Go about their business.
Yep. So now, I think is where we might disagree a little bit. At number 6 in the standings, I have Alpine.
Ooh.
Yes. I think they will be good, but not good enough to be best of the rest. I have Alpine at number 6, which means I have Williams being 5th. Best of the rest in the midfield. Boom.
Boom. Wow. This one was tough for me. Because as we've been saying this episode and touched on last episode as well, I'm really, really rooting for Williams. It does seem like they're going to do really well this season. But Alpine, they were doing pretty good. But I agree with you.
Okay.
I put Alpine at 6th, Williams at 5th.
All right. Okay. We're almost aligned here.
Yeah, we're cooking.
This is working out.
We are cooking. We're cooking.
Let's get into the top 4. Let's get into the real goods, the real meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
At I've been kind of talking about it a little bit this episode, but I'm not feeling good about this team this year. At number 4, I have Red Bull Racing. Yep.
No surprise there.
Just not good enough. Not good enough to compete at the top. It's plain and simple. Yep.
I agree. At 4, I also have Red Bull Racing.
Oh.
Seems like they're going to have a tough time this season with either one driver absolutely nowhere or both of their drivers just fiercely battling over the edge and just getting into trouble. I think, Red Bull is looking like a 4th place to me.
All right. Okay, so maybe we're not disagreeing as much as I thought. Maybe the top 3 will surprise you, Jacob. At number 3, I have put Ferrari.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I said it was going to be the year of the Mercedes powertrain, and I am sticking to it. I have Ferrari at number 3 in my constructors standings.
Wow.
It'll be close. It'll be tight. But I think they will end up number 3.
Okay. I have Mercedes at number 3.
All right. Okay. Valid.
I do. I have them at number 3. I think they're going to do really well this season. And that's it. There's not even a but to that. I think they're going to do really well this season. I guess the but is they're going against Ferrari and McLaren.
Yep. Exactly.
Which they're just looking so strong. So kind of a toss-up, but personally, I put Mercedes in 3rd.
Okay. Sick. I like where this is going. And number 2.
Number 2, runner-up.
Runner-up. As well as Constructors Champion. And number 2, I have Mercedes, which means that I think the Constructors Championship back-to-back will be McLaren.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
All right. McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari for your top 3.
Yup.
Okay, that's respectable. I get it. Like, I understand. Honestly, you could swap any of those 3 around, and I would still respect the take.
You really could. As long as those 3 are there at the top, I mean,
yeah.
That's really where it's at this year, at this junction, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I said Mercedes number 3 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I'm actually putting McLaren. That means Ferrari is number 1 for me.
Oh, wow.
I think Ferrari.
I mean, that aligns with your Hamilton champion pick. That
It
does
does.
make sense. Yeah.
It does. I mean, if I'm thinking that Lewis Hamilton is going to go for that 8th, if he's like standing on business like he said he is, and I really believe it because he is the GOAT. You can never count him out. I really think that if I really think about it, with the strength of McLaren and Ferrari looking super close,
Oh, yeah.
it comes down to the driver lineup.
100%.
And at that point, if I'm thinking about it, okay, they're not going to be in exactly equal machinery, but it's pretty much a toss-up, so 50-50. I'm going to put them, if I put these 4 drivers, Lando, Oscar, Charles, Lewis, in equal machinery, Charles and Lewis are winning every time.
I agree. Yeah.
So that's my prediction. Ferrari number 1, McLaren number 2, Mercedes number 3.
Okay. I think it's going to be close between those 3. I think, like you said, you can shuffle them around as much as you want. All we know is that it's going to be close no matter what. So,
yeah.
All right. You think Ferrari will be champion? I believe McLaren will be champion. I believe also, just by extension, it's the year of the Mercedes powertrain.
Yeah.
So,
which
we'll
I have to kind of agree with you. The Mercedes powertrains are looking real sharp.
Williams in 5th, potentially.
Real sharp.
Like Mercedes, McLaren.
I think Ferrari got it this year.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
That was fun. I like that.
Yeah. All right.
Good predictions. Yeah, good predictions. Yeah, we are pretty synced up for most of it, for the most part. Yeah.
All right. So now let's go to the fun ones because we saved the best for last year at S3. You know.
Yes, we do.
Let's do the logical, illogical predictions. I said anything you want. At a maximum of 3 predictions per section. So I have 3 predictions for logical and illogical. How many do you have per section, Jacob?
Let me keep it a surprise.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like the surprises. We've been pulling some surprises here at S3. And it feels pretty good.
It's fun. It's
All right.
fun.
I will do mine in order. So, I'm going to start with my first logical pick. My first prediction is that Aston Martin will restructure their leadership again this year.
Ooh.
I don't think Lawrence Stroll is going to like that they're 9th. He's going to fire some people. People are going to go. People are going to get the boot. He's not going to like that his son is shit. He's not going to like that he's in the back. He's going to let some people go. That's my prediction. I think based on the ruthlessness that we've seen of a Sir Lawrence Stroll, this is a valid, logical prediction.
Wow. I really, really like that prediction.
Thank you.
Especially because it aligns with my logical prediction,
Okay.
which is Lance Stroll will finally get the boot.
Jacob, let me tell you something. I also have a similar prediction. However, in my illogical section, would you like for me to reveal it now or wait until we get through this section?
No, let's hear it.
Okay. I don't predict that he'll get the boot. I predict that Lance Stroll will voluntarily leave Formula One. I believe he goes out on his own terms. And Yuki Tsunoda will join the Aston Martin project in 2026. Oh, yeah, baby. You know what? I'm going to elaborate a little bit on my prediction.
Please. Wow. That is crazy. Yuki Tsunoda to Aston Martin once Lance Stroll leaves?
Voluntarily leaves F1 and goes to WEC. He will join the Valkyrie project with Aston Martin. That is my prediction. He will voluntarily leave. Here's why. Over the years, hasn't it seemed that Lance Stroll has gotten just more bored? Like, he doesn't want to be there. Like, he's just disinterested. It's like, how can you build a team around somebody like that that just doesn't look like he wants to be there? Just, frankly, probably doesn't even appreciate the opportunity that he's been given by his father that literally bought the whole damn company. Well, at least a good portion of it. So I think, in my opinion, there's probably some tensions behind the scenes that we don't even understand when it comes to the executive board of Aston Martin and Lawrence Stroll. They might have some strong opinions about keeping Lance in that seat, and his dad might be trying to light a fire up his ass, and it's not working. He doesn't seem like the confrontational type. So, I think he's just going to have enough. I think at least halfway through the season, Lance Stroll himself will announce very quietly and with limited breath and sentences, I'm out of here. I'm done. I don't want it anymore. I'm not hungry. I don't want it. Someone else should take my spot. I'm out. I'm going to go race in WEC. Bye. That is my illogical prediction. Lance Stroll will leave F1 on his own terms, and Yuki Tsunoda will join the following year.
Wow.
Wow.
Boom.
Very interesting
Boom.
that our logical and illogical predictions surrounding Aston Martin are kind of similar.
Kind of.
At least same font.
Yeah, because
right?
here's the thing. Like, it's illogical to me because I don't think Stroll would do that. I think he has too much of an ego to be honest with himself and just be like, you know what? I don't want this anymore. I'm out. That's why I think it's illogical. I don't think he'd be the type to do it, but if he did, I would respect him, to be honest. I'd be like, wow, dude, you know what? You actually looked deep within yourself and you told yourself, you know, I don't want it anymore. Like, this just isn't me. And I've clearly shown I've been disinterested, and I don't think they should be using their resources on somebody that doesn't want it. I don't think he would do that. I don't think he'd do it. So your prediction of him just getting the boot is more logical to me, to be honest. I would like for you to explain your reasoning, please.
Why I put Lance Stroll getting the boot as my logical prediction is because, as you said, father Lawrence Stroll is putting tons of money into this Aston Martin project.
Mm-hmm.
Astronomical amounts of money
Adrian
that
Newey's
us
not
normal people just don't understand.
cheap. Adrian Newey's not cheap.
He is not. He is not. That is hot property right there. And so why I say it's logical is because, just like you said, Lawrence Stroll is not going to be happy investing hundreds of millions of dollars into a thing that doesn't produce results. As a businessman, that is just not an investment that I see Lawrence Stroll making. And part of that, he's going to have to really see and be ruthless as the businessman that he is, and see that his son in that second seat is a liability. And I think he's finally going to have enough. And as you said, Lance Stroll is looking more and more bored by the day.
Yep.
I think it's going to get to a point, it's going to get to a breaking point where it's like, you are just a liability. And now at this point, you crash too much, you don't get results, you don't even want to be here anymore. Get out of here so we can replace you with my illogical prediction, Max Verstappen.
Da, 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 da.
Max Verstappen. Da, 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 da.
Oh
Yes.
my God, you think he has the balls?
I think he has the balls, especially if they do not perform well. Red Bull. If Red Bull does not perform well this season, and Lawrence Stroll is making the insane investments into the Aston Martin project, I can totally see a world where he poaches Max Verstappen from Red Bull to Aston Martin.
Wow, and to drop his own son would be cinema.
Yes.
Cinema. Oh, Drive to Survive would be having.
They would have a
field
day. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, I would love to watch that. Merely
Yes.
for the drama. It'd be like an episode of the Kardashians in its prime. Oh.
Exactly. That's my logical and illogical predictions, both having to do with Aston Martin. I think it is the logical decision from a business and racing standpoint to let go of Lance Stroll, the liability, and to replace him with the current trajectory of where Aston Martin seems that they want to go, which is recruiting the top talent, investing the money to get the highest end, the most high tech technology. And they're going to poach Max Verstappen.
Wow. I mean, we've heard rumors here and there
Yes.
that these conversations are happening. I was thinking, Fernando retires or whatever, and he does like a consult role behind the scenes, and then, Verstappen takes that seat. But we also need to remember that Lawrence doesn't have all the say. There is a board of people in suits and ties that also have a say. And they might feel very strongly about keeping Fernando and instead getting rid of Lawrence's son. It's very possible. Wow, we've knocked out a logical and illogical prediction just off the bat. Knocked out 4 predictions in 1 prediction.
Yeah.
Wow, we're so efficient here at S3. That's peak efficiency.
Shoo.
Wow. All right.
We're
Well, then I guess
profesh.
I'll move on to my second logical prediction, which is that the George Russell, Andrea Kimi, Antonelli teammate battle will be closer than we think.
Ooh.
This is going to be tight. I think this kid is serious. I've been saying it these past 2 episodes. This kid's for real. And I think he'll really bring a serious challenge to George throughout the year. I think it's going to be very marginal. I mean, the deltas are going to be less than at least 0.2. Like, it's going to be real tight. This kid is going to be serious, and he's going to help the team. He's going to be a team player. He seems calm. He seems collected. He doesn't seem like he's the type to make serious errors, like colliding into your teammate. But it will be tight. It will be really close. I think it'll be real close.
I love that prediction. Not only do I want to see it happen, but I also see it happening.
Oh, yeah.
I think that is not only logical, I think it's almost set in stone.
I agree. Chef's kiss of a logical prediction.
Great one. Great
Number
one.
2 for you, Jacob.
Number 2, my second logical prediction. This was a tough one. This was a tough one for me because I couldn't really tell if this was going to be a logical or an illogical prediction for me.
Okay.
But my second logical prediction is that we are going to see at least 2, possibly 3 driver swaps mid-season this season.
Excuse me? Driver swaps. So not drops, swaps.
Oh, pardon me. Drops.
Drops. Okay. So, okay. Let me
Okay.
think about this real quick. So,
Yes.
I'm going to say, let me take a guess here. You're going to say Doohan. You're
Correct.
Going to say Lawson.
Possibly.
And then I guess Stroll, which would make sense because considering you predicted that.
Yeah.
Okay. Was I on the money?
Yeah, you were right on the money.
Boom, baby. I know my shit.
Right.
Woo!
Right on the money. Yep.
Heyo.
I think there's going to be 2, maybe even 3 driver drops this season. And the reason why I say this, and the reason why I was kind of going back and forth between if this is illogical or illogical, and why I decided to choose it as my logical prediction, is because coming off of the 2024 season, which was the first season ever in Formula One history, sorry, where the grid stayed exactly the same.
That is true.
Only time in history.
That is true.
That means last year's grid, all the teams thought they were good enough to just stick with them.
Yeah.
And here we are in 2025, only one season later, and we have 5 rookies.
Yep. And many swaps.
And many swaps.
Mm-hmm.
Drops are bound to happen, and I think they're going to be plentiful.
Okay.
Because every single team is fighting for every point, every position to get that bonus money from the Constructors Championship, to get money for the Drivers' Championship, to go into the 2026 season with the best chance possible to take it. Because any amount of money works. Of course, now there's the cost cap and everything, but of course, not all the teams are hitting the cost cap.
Of course.
So any amount of money is going to help, and especially during a huge regulation change, as we're going to get in 2026, everything is for grabs. Everything is on the table. So who knows? Maybe kick Sauber turning into Audi next year. Maybe they're fighting for a championship in 2026 or 2027 just because
vibes.
Just because regulation changed,
Regulations. Yep.
So that's my logical prediction, is that we're going to see 2 or 3 driver drops this year. It's going to be ruthless.
Specifically, the 3 that I mentioned: Doohan, Lawson, Stroll.
Doing Lawson, Stroll.
Wow. So I'm assuming Lawson would be a swap for Sonoda.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows if Lawson would even go down to Racing Bulls or
Right.
get
If he'd
just
be
get
willing,
replaced?
If he'd be willing to do that, right?
Who knows?
After the trials and tribulations of even getting to Red Bull in the first place,
Exactly.
because it felt more like Red Bull owed him that rather than he earned it. So we'll see, but okay, I agree with that. That's a solid prediction, solid logical prediction. I like this. That's messy, but it's logical. All right, my third and final logical prediction, and I kind of mentioned this before. Jacob, let me take you to the final race of this season.
Okay.
This fight is going to be between 4 drivers. Charles Leclerc,
Okay.
Max Verstappen,
Yeah.
Lando Norris, and George Russell. However, I did say it would be a battle of the Brits. We'll be looking at those 2 Brits leading the championship heading into the race. 1 and 2. Lando on top, George second. However, somehow, some way, they fumble the bag. And Max Verstappen wins the championship. However, I did say earlier that Charles Leclerc would be second. I predict that Charles Leclerc will lose out to Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship by less than 10 points.
Wow. That was loaded. There was a lot in there.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I believe a Lando Russell fumble, legendary fumble in the final race, will lead to Leclerc barely losing out to Max Verstappen in the final race of the year by less than 10 points.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That is bold.
Oh, yeah.
But I agree that it is also logical.
Oh, yeah. We think it's
If
going to be
it comes-
close.
If it comes down to a 4-way fight in the final race, that is like you can't miss that.
Can't miss
That
it.
is a race that you call off of work for. That's everything.
Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema.
Oh, yeah.
Drive to Survive is
Oh, dude, this year, crazy.
this is gonna be so crazy. Wow.
That's my final logical prediction. Charles Leclerc will lose the championship to Max Verstappen by less than 10 points in the final race of the year.
Wow. Okay. I don't have any more logical predictions.
Oh, you
but
have 2. Okay.
I do have one more illogical prediction.
Okay, so you had 2
And
logical,
this
2
one-
illogical.
Yes.
Okay.
And this one is so absurd
Wait,
that
it's not even absurd enough to make your pure superstition pick? How absurd is this? No, it can't. How absurd is your pure superstition pick? This is
my pure superstition pick is crazy, but I think you might be able to guess. But let's not even get there
all
yet.
right. Yeah.
My
let's go
last illogical prediction.
Okay.
My last illogical prediction. Is that Oscar Piastri? We haven't talked about him much.
No, we haven't.
He's been kind of in the down low, in the rafters.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Oscar Piastri has the potential to absolutely bust this entire championship open. We've been talking about Max. We've been talking about Charles. We've been talking about George. We've been talking about Lando.
Okay.
But I think Oscar, if he plays his cards right, if he's strategic, if he gets lucky, he has the potential to absolutely just ruin everything in a good way.
Okay.
I
Elaborate a little
think
bit.
in a illogical world
Okay.
that it comes down to Lando versus Oscar, and Oscar wins the championship.
Now settle down a second. Because you said Lewis Hamilton would win the championship.
I did, but that was a logical prediction.
You're a good.
That was a real prediction.
In an illogical world, Oscar Piastri wins the fucking championship.
I do.
We're gonna have to blurt that out, but oh my god.
I do. I think in this illogical world that I'm thinking of, I think that McLaren having the strongest car and Oscar being a good driver, I think he totally has the ability and the drive to will his way into a championship battle.
I mean,
against Lando.
You did say Lando Norris is your underdog of the year. You did say that.
I did.
Lando could fumble the bag. Okay. You see, but the fact that I'm thinking about it and it doesn't make sense to me just shows how illogical to me it is. So that is an illogical prediction if I've ever heard one. So, wow. Okay. Oscar Piastri wins the world championship against Lando.
I can't even say it with a straight face. Can't even say it with a straight face.
I can't even believe it myself. That's how illogical it is.
Yeah.
In a way, I mean, I don't doubt his ability. He's obviously incredible. I mean, he's arguably top 5 driver in F1 right now, but we don't think he's going to win the championship.
No, we don't, but in my illogical world, we do. And that's not even touching my pure superstition.
Oh, shit.
That one is just out of this world.
Oh, no. Wow. Well, luckily for you, I have 2 more illogical predictions.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear these.
All right. We already covered one where I think Lance will, leave on his own accord and go to WEC, and Tsunoda will join Aston. Luckily for you, I have 2 more. My first written down illogical prediction was there will be 5 different race winners within the first 10 races.
Wow. You think it's going to be that shuffled?
I think it's going to be that tight.
Wow. 5 different race winners in 10 races.
In the first 10.
Wow.
5 different
I
race winners
love this
in
prediction.
the first 10 races. Oh, yeah.
I love this
It's going to
prediction.
be real tight. Real tight.
Yeah, say more on that.
Well, as is, we think it's going to be close. But I think it's going to be even closer than testing has shown us. I think it's going to be real serious. I think it's going to be down to the smallest margins. These drivers need to be perfect for the first couple races as the cars start developing. So I think we'll have some obvious candidates here and there. Max Verstappen, maybe a Charles Leclerc, and a Lando. But then maybe we'll have 2 surprises. Maybe we'll have that elusive Carlos win that we've been talking about. Maybe we'll have a Lewis win. But I think it's totally fair that 5 out of the 10, the 5 different race winners in the first 10 races. I think it's maybe a little illogical, just based on how good the top 2 at this current time look, particularly Ferrari and Lando. But we're talking about a championship fight here. This is going to be down to the margins. And so I think it's just going to be, I think it's going to be that close. I don't even think it's going to be down to how fast the cars are. I just think it's going to be down to how good the drivers are. This isn't even going to be about machinery. This is going to be about just pure driving talent. This is going to be championship mentality. Who's got it? Who wants to win more? That's what I think it's going to be. For first 10 races, there will be 5 different race winners.
I love that.
Boom.
And as illogical as it may be, I really hope it happens.
Oh, yes.
I really hope it
Such
happens.
a great start to the season. I would love my first couple months of F1 just for that. Oh, it'd be so great. So good.
That's awesome.
My second
Okay.
one.
Yeah, you have one more.
My second one that I wrote down. I think this is going to be crazy. You're going to lose your goddamn mind. You're going to lose your mind. I think this is this is even better, in my opinion, than the Stroll one that I wrote.
Okay.
If Max Verstappen wins 5 in a row, he will retire from F1.
Oh my God, I knew it as soon as you said it.
If
Max
Verstappen wins 5, he's done. That's it.
Really?
Yep. It's over. That's it. End of an era. Boom.
Wow, you don't even think he's gonna go for 26?
Nope. Done. He's going to pull a Rosberg. He's going to quit at the award ceremony. He's going to be like, I did it all. I proved it. I proved I'm the best ever. And I'm done. I'm going to go race in WEC now. I'm going to go race in Indy or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to do something else.
Sim race, something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm done.
Wow.
I did it. I'm the best. I did it. I'm the best. I have nothing else to prove to anybody. Screw you guys. I'm going home. Boom.
I'm speechless. The thing is, like, I could see it happening. I could totally
would. Even though it might seem like it makes a little sense, I think Max is too much of a competitor to leave like that.
Yeah.
Even though it would be fire story.
Yeah. Oh wow, that would be the greatest mic drop.
Yeah. It'd be like, you know what? I did it all. I proved to everybody I'm the best. I won in every circumstance. Screw you guys. I'm going home. 5 in a row. Suck it. Handful of rings.
Wow.
But I don't think he
awesome.
would. I think he would want the glory. I think he would want to go for 8. I think he would. I don't think he'd quit at 5.
I think he would too, just out of pure spite.
I don't think yeah. I don't think he'd quit at 5. I think he'd go for 8.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I think it's illogical. But in an illogical world where Max Verstappen isn't as competitive as he is, or maybe it dials down as the year goes on and he realizes I've achieved everything other than, the numbers, he quits after 5 in a row. And then
Wow.
Red Bull's in shambles. And everyone wins.
That would be bombshell. I mean, that might be even just as big as the announcement Lewis Hamilton was going to Ferrari.
It would be bigger than Rosberg retiring.
Absolutely.
It would be huge.
And it would be interesting because it would be a completely different circumstance than Rosberg. Because if I remember correctly, like Rosberg, just wanted to get the one and done, and just like he reached the pinnacle, he did what he wanted to do, and then he bounced out. But I also, if I remember correctly, hearing him say somewhere that it was also just because it was so taxing to try to beat Lewis. Like you just have to be perfect.
Yep.
Like you have to be perfect to beat Lewis, and I don't think Max suffers from that.
I agree. I don't think he
I
does.
I
he
think
loves it. I think he loves how
yeah.
it feels. Which is why I don't think he'd quit. That's why I don't think he'd quit.
I think that's a great illogical. Yes,
I think
that
he loves
a great
F1 too
illogical
much
prediction.
to quit after 5. But if for some reason something changes in his mind and in his heart at the end of the year, he says, I did it all. I proved I'm the best. I won 5 in a row in every circumstance. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
That's my last illogical prediction. Verstappen wins 5 in a row. He retires. He's done. Yep.
We'll see.
We'll see. Now,
We will see.
we're going to get to the really fun one. Pure superstition. This defies even being illogical. This seems almost impossible. And if it does happen, we are God. We see into the future. We are time travelers if these predictions happen. Because the other ones, even though sure they might have been illogical, they might be possible.
Yeah.
But this just makes no sense. There's no way that you can predict this this far away from the season's even starting. Would you like to go first, Jacob, or would you like for me to go first?
I would like to go first.
Okay.
I have a pure superstition, absurd take that's
Do I need to stand up for this?
maybe.
Okay. I'm standing.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
My
Oh, I ran
absolutely
over my toes.
Ooh.
It's okay. We're good.
My absolute pure superstition, absurd take is Williams pulls a Braun GP, dominates this season.
Get the fuck out of here. Dude, no. No way. I refuse to believe a reality where either Carlos Sainz or Alex Albon gets their first championship in a Williams, let alone that Williams is the Constructors Championship. I don't believe you. No way. It will never happen.
Yeah.
It will never happen. No way.
1% chance.
No shot. You couldn't convince me to go to Vegas and bet $5 that would happen. No shot. I'd rather go to a hole-in-the-wall diner and have shits for the rest of the day than spend $5 on betting that Williams will dominate this year. No way. No way.
That's my pure superstition.
That's absurd.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
it
it
is
is. It's absolutely absurd.
It's
There's no way it's gonna happen on this planet.
No
not
shot.
even in 1,000 alternative universes would
No,
that ever happen.
it would never
But that is my take. I think that there's a 0.001% chance that Williams puts some magic into the bag. Honestly, I don't even care if they have to cheat to get there. That they will dominate and they will win not only the constructors, but they will also win the drivers' championship.
Who's champion?
Carlos.
Okay, that makes sense. See, that's the only logical thing out of that prediction. Wow, that is just so crazy. There's no way. I could not fathom a reality. No way.
Yep, back
No
to winning
way.
ways.
No way. Wow. We think they will be, but not like that. Not, that's a whole different. What? Dude, that is just out of your back pocket, just out of nowhere. Like you pulled a piece of lint out of your back pocket and that was your prediction. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I got that prediction from a crackhead on the street.
Dude. Wow. He probably didn't even know who he was talking about. He probably thought Williams was an actual person. What the hell? Wow. I'm still baffled. I can't believe that you just said that.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
There it is.
That's so insane.
Secret's out.
That's utterly insane.
Clip
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Clip it now for when it happens at the end of the season.
Oh my God! Wow. Well, honestly, that beats mine. To be honest with you,
What's yours?
I think mine's
Let's hear
pretty
it.
absurd, but I don't think it's that absurd. Wow. Let me take you in the future, in September, specifically to the Monza International Circuit. We're looking at a beautiful day of practice. And a beautiful day of qualifying. However, race day comes around. It's fucking pouring. It's pouring. Not enough to be canceled, but it's pouring.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm seeing what you're putting down.
Everyone's thinking, Ferrari's got to win it here. They always do. They always pull something out of the bag. They always do. 5 lights. Out. We head into the first chicane. And somebody in the middle of the pack fumbles the bag. And the biggest pileup you have ever seen happens at T1. However, who comes out in the lead of the race? It's not Lewis Hamilton. It's not Charles Leclerc. It's Oliver Behrman.
Oh my God. Okay.
And by the grace of God, like Sebastian Vettel in a Toro Rosso, somehow, some way, this child wills this Haas to the checkered flag, triumphant.
P1.
It will not be Charles Leclerc. It will not be Lewis Hamilton. It will not be Scarlet Red. But it will be a man who represents them. Oliver Bearman will win in a torrential downpour at Monza.
I'm speechless.
That is my pure superstition prediction.
Wow. That is a good one. I love that prediction. It is just so dramatic.
It's just absurd. It's absurd.
That is...
It's just absurd.
Out of the wreckage comes Ollie Bearman.
Out in first place, Ollie Bearman.
P1. Wow.
Out of the wreckage, in the first corner of the first lap, leading the race is Oliver Bearman. And somehow, some way, in this torrential downpour, he wills this Haas in a masterclass to win at Monza. It won't be the Ferraris. It will be someone who represents them. It will be Oliver Bearman.
It'll be the Ferrari-powered Haas.
The Ferrari-powered Haas. They will win their first race in F1, and it will be Oliver Bearman that lifts the trophy at the top step of the podium.
I love that prediction.
Oh, yeah.
I love that prediction.
Oh, yeah. It's just so,
honestly, it's so absurd,
It's
but
so crazy.
I really hope it happens.
it's so crazy. It's so nuts. It's ridiculous.
So much has to happen for that prediction to come true.
Oh, yeah. No, the whole thing has to happen. Practice has to be dry. Perfect. Perfect day. Qualifying, same. Perfect day. No sign of rain. Then Sunday. Torrential, gray, disgusting weather. Just downpour. And then someone fumbles the bag in the middle of the pack, crashes out a ton of people, and somehow Oliver Bearman ends up P1.
Honestly, the crash in the middle is the only part of this that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
but I love it.
First corner, first lap.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we know how terrible that first corner is at Monza.
In the rain? Yeah, someone's gonna
In the
set-
rain,
set-
in the rain,
In the rain.
with only dry sessions before.
Yep.
Yeah, bro. It's just the guessing game. Where's the breaking point at that point?
Yep.
Wow, I love that prediction.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Ollie
Beautiful.
Bearman gets his first win in a Haas at Monza as a Ferrari boy, but not a
Beautiful.
Ferrari boy, but a Ferrari boy. Is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard?
That is crazy.
Other than your prediction. Your prediction is just downright absurd. That's just ridiculous. I can't even
my
fathom.
prediction was straight alien.
Yeah, it's just like no way. Like what crystal ball are you looking into, bud? Crazy.
The crystal meth ball.
Yeah, clearly, dude. God.
That was great.
That was
I thoroughly enjoyed
that
that.
was great. Oh my god. So, at the end of the season, we will tally up our, our predictions. We'll come up with a point system at some point throughout the season to see if our predictions come true. And then whoever wins, I don't know. We'll figure out what the prize will be.
We'll figure out something. But whoever wins at the end of the season, may the best predictor win.
May the best predictor win. May the best predictor win. So now
The Predictors Championship.
the Predictors Championship. Oh, yeah. So, wow, look at that. We got all our predictions out the way. We've cemented who we think is going to be good, who we think is going to be bad, who we think is going to over-deliver and under-deliver. The best teammates, the worst, the champion. Some really solid predictions, both logically and illogically. And then there's just one in there that's, oh my God, if it happens, this is not real life. There's no way. Wow.
Wow.
And then we just wanted to bring in some recent news into this episode to conclude our second episode of S3. Ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. Cadillac has joined F1. Can't we
Boom.
believe it? Oh my God! Finally.
Can't
So long.
finally.
Wow. We never thought that it would, but it did. Here they are for next year, 2026. It's happening. They pulled it off. What do we think, Jacob?
I'm super excited. Not only do we have another American team joining the
A real
grid,
American team.
a real American team joining the grid, it's also just bombshell news to begin with because 11 teams.
11.
Wow.
Yeah.
11 teams. That means there's 2 more spots open just out of thin air for
Yep.
2 more drivers to come and try to prove themselves. I mean, I think it's only good for the sport. I really hope Cadillac and their project goes well. I don't expect them to be front runners anytime soon, but I'm really excited to see a new team hit the grid. I'm really excited to see who jumps in as those drivers, and I'm really excited to have a pure American team on the grid with a brand that people actually know.
Mhm.
So that'll be good, and I hope their merch is fire so I can buy lots of it.
Ooh, for sure. It better be. This whole 11th team saga has been kind of all over the place. You know, we were looking at initially a Andretti Formula One team entry
Yeah.
with a partnership with Cadillac. However, we came to find out as the year went on that F1, for some reason, hates Andretti a lot, actually, to the point that they battered and bashed their name in a public statement as to why they did not meet the requirements to join F1 as they were at the time. And so we're thinking, well, that's over. This isn't going to happen. And then they decided to internally restructure. I forget which of the Andrettis was the CEO at the time, but he ended up departing into a consultory role. And the CEO is now the other part owner of Andretti, I believe. And instead of it being a Andretti entry with a Cadillac engine, it is now a Cadillac entry with Andretti doing all of the framework and foundational building so that Cadillac can enter into F1. So there will be at some point a Cadillac powertrain, it seems, with Andretti assistance throughout Europe. They just built that new base in Britain, so that seems like it's going to be exciting. And if you do live in Britain and you're watching this, they are hiring if you have some technical expertise.
Yeah.
Cadillac F1 team is looking for somebody like you to join their team. Yeah. Become the American that your ancestors never became. Oh, yeah. Now, I have an interesting question for you, Jacob.
Please, I'd love to hear it.
Who do you think are going to drive the cars?
Who do I think are going to drive the cars? That is a good one. Part of me wants to think that they will try to get some Americans in the seats. We know how Americans are. We are Americans. We take our American pride very seriously. And I see a world where they try to get 2 American drivers, either from IndyCar, some sort of other series. They try to bring them in, get them into Formula One. On the other hand, I think there are plenty of drivers who would be great to take that spot. Valtteri Bottas, one of them.
Okay.
Valtteri Bottas, I'm honestly, as electric and exciting as Kimi Antonelli seems, I really think that Mercedes should have picked up Valtteri Bottas, at least for the 2025 season, just to round out the new regulations. I mean,
All right.
he's so experienced. Not only experienced with the current regulation of cars, but also experienced in the Mercedes family.
Agreed.
I think Bottas definitely has potential to get a Cadillac seat. I think Danny Rick, also one of the people's champions, also would they would entertain it. I don't know if they would get Danny Rick. I don't know if Danny Rick is really up to spec anymore.
I'm not really sure about that Danny Rick assumption. It seems like after this whole Red Bull thing that it was either he made it or he didn't type of situation. And it seems just based on his dialogue after the fact that even if Cadillac did approach, he would say that he's not interested. But that's what the headlines say. You never know. The prospect of joining a new team, a new project, could bring somebody like the likes of Danny Rick back. I mean, we can look at, Fernando Alonso for the third and fourth time that he's come back. He's always been enticed by something new, and he's retired 20 million times already.
Yeah.
So, and instead of Vettel retiring, he joined Aston Martin. So it's like things can happen. You never know.
Yeah.
People change their mind.
Things can happen. Personally, I would really, really, really love to see a woman from either Indy NXT, from Formula One Academy, step up the ranks to F3, F2, and finally get a woman on the grid for Formula One. I think it's totally possible. Abby Pulling is doing really great. Dorian Pon is also doing really great. There's definitely women in the pipeline, especially now with Formula One Academy and Susie Wolf being the president of Formula One Academy, and really building those teams and the pipeline for female talent to make it up to the big leagues in Formula One. I would really love to see that happen.
I have a rebuttal for your female prediction.
Ooh.
I have watched many things about why there has not been a woman in F1 just yet. And the main thing that other Formula drivers, whether current or former, have pointed to, or even coaches of these women aspiring Formula drivers, is just the physicality of being in an F1 car. It requires such a level of physical capability, especially of the upper body, and that a woman just merely can't produce like a man can. It's the physical limitations are so staggering that it would be very difficult to get a woman to that physical level where they could match up with a man in terms of the G-forces, in terms of even turning the wheel, in terms of braking, that in my brain, like, you probably would have to take steroids. Like, that's how physically demanding the sport is. I mean, you're driving. I mean, dude, imagine a woman trying to drive in the heat of like a Qatar or something. Like, you watch Drive to Survive. Like, George Russell was dying, and he's a big dude. So it's not necessarily the skill gap. It's more so just the physical element is so prevalent in F1, especially, that the step up, even from F4 to F3 to F2, is like, it's a big gap. And there have been many accounts from former women Formula drivers that those steps up are very difficult. And that's really why we've only seen Jamie Chadwick get as far as she did.
Yeah.
It's like that F2 success kind of eluded her, and then now she's doing her thing elsewhere. But it's shown historically that it's very hard as a woman to meet those physical expectations that an F1 car, even an F2 car, would require. But you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. Absolutely. Also, happy National Women's Day.
Happy National Women's Day. Shout out to all our women.
Yeah, shout out to all our women. We love you. I think, while yes, it is true that we know how physically demanding F1 is. I mean, it is not easy to be in a race car. They are hot, they are cramped,
Yep.
and they take a lot of strength to even drive in general. Not even mentioning driving it to its limit. But I totally think it is possible for a woman to hop into a Formula One car with the proper training to get strong enough and be fast. I mean, the last one to do it was Susie Wolf. She never actually raced a real Grand Prix lap in an F1 car, but she did do testing for Williams, and she was only a couple of tenths off of, I believe, Felipe Massa. And we all know how quick Felipe Massa is. So, and especially where her at the head of this women's movement in Formula One, I think it is totally possible that we see in the next 5 to 10 years the first female driver to get into a Formula One car and hopefully also be competitive. Especially when we're thinking about like the physical demandings of it, but there are women fighter jet pilots, which are arguably even more difficult physically than driving a Formula One car. I mean, Formula One cars, you can hit a corner and have a sustained G of 5 Gs for 3 seconds in a corner, but in a freaking fighter jet, you're pulling 7 Gs for like 15 seconds. Anyway, we're not having a debate on whether or not when women can make it in Formula One. I think both of us.
Possible. However, evidence recently from other attempts to climb up the Formula ladder have definitely shown that it is much harder for a woman to be able to meet those physical expectations. With Susie, I have no idea what her racing career looked like. I have no idea what extent of testing she did. I have no idea if she did a full race distance. I have no clue. The fact that she was able to do it is very applaudable, and I do commend her for being able to make it to that level and be that fast. Like, there aren't that many people in the world that are that fast.
Yeah.
You might be testing for an F1 team. That doesn't mean you're slow. You got to be the best of the best to even be capable of doing that. And like I said, you never know. It's very possible. I think definitely we'll see an attempt, for sure. At some point in our lifetime, there will be definitely an attempt for a woman to join an F1 team, at least for a year. I think we'll see it. I think we'll see it happen. I think it would blow up the sport as well.
Absolutely.
But back to Cadillac. In terms of me and who I think would drive the car, for sure Bottas. I think they would bring in Bottas. He's a reliable hand. He has so much experience. He's a race winner. He's a championship winner, a Constructors Championship winner. He knows what it takes to build a winning formula. And then I think they do definitely bring in one of the IndyCar guys. I think probably it could be between Pat O'Ward. It could be between Colton Herta. All the familiar names that we've heard throughout the years. Maybe even like a Crawford or an Aaron, somebody like that. But
maybe even a Rossi.
That would be fire.
That would be awesome.
But I think they will bring in an IndyCar guy just because that is what they're familiar with. And then bring in Bottas as kind of like a safe placeholder. People have been saying Sergio Perez. I think his time is up. That's just how I feel. I don't see it happening. I think he's got a family. He's got other priorities. Bottas is not that. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it for Checo. As much as I would love to see him back. As much as I would love to see him back, I don't think it would happen.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah, it's a shame, but Cadillac next year will be exciting. I think it'll throw in something interesting for us to keep an eye on as the off season of next season goes on. But I think that is wraps for episode 2
Yeah.
of S3. It was a long one, just like the first one, but we did cover a lot. We had some fun. We just to kind of recap, we did some post testing talk. We did some predictions, standing stuff, some logical, illogical stuff, best, worst, underdog, underbog. And then we did an absurd prediction. Both of ours were very absurd.
Quite.
And we brushed up a little bit on Cadillac, because that's some big news. It's important, this will open the door for potentially some other entries, perhaps,
For sure.
heading into the future as F1 begins to build its brand and everything.
Definitely changes the texture of the grid for sure.
For sure. We're going to have 22 grid slots now. This is not just going to be something that happens in the F1 games. This is going to be real life, people.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. And I'm excited
gonna
to
be
see
awesome.
who drives the cars. I'm excited to see who's going to be behind the scenes in the teams, who's going to be the team principal. Bring back Gunther Steiner, baby. Bring him back. Bring back my goat. Bring back my goat. That's my
People love him.
goat. Bring him back. Just for the marketing. Just for the sake of the marketing. He might not even be good at his job. Just bring him back. Somehow. Bring him back. As a consultant. Something. If you can do it for Flavio Briatore after everything he did, you can do it for Gunther Steiner. You can do it.
Exactly.
You can do it. Bring him back. Screw it. Bring him back. Anyways, everybody, I think that concludes this episode of S3. We are Stars, Stripes, and Sectors. I'm Luca.
I'm Jacob.
And then we will see you for our Australia preview next time.
Episode 3. Look out for that. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. All of the YouTuber things. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you for Aussie, baby. Aussie, Aussie,
Woo!
Aussie, Aussie. Oi, 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 oi. Aussie, 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 Aussie. Oi, 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 oi.
Oi.
Peace out, folks.
Peace. All right.